and welcome back to City Focus. I'm here with the fog coordinator for the city of Valdosta, Joseph Gangler, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about fog. First of all, thank you for taking your time out and coming and talk to us.
I appreciate y'all inviting us over.
All right, what actually is fog? For those people who have no clue what fog is, what is fog?
Well, fog is like way out there this morning. You know, is that real bad fog we that just rolled in. Fog stands for fats, oils, and greases. It's a generic term we apply. You know, we obviously think about fats, oils, greases. Most people know what a fat, oil, and grease is, but our program encompasses more than just the fat, the oil, and the grease. It encompasses what I call commercial pretreatment, which is preventing stuff from going down the drain to clog the sewers to damage the wastewater plants. So it's kind of a all-encompassing thing, but for simplicity, we just go with fog, fats, oils, and grease.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of times you're talking about what goes down the drains, and I know I was taught as a kid, hey, you don't put that grease down the drain. I know it's dry now, but it's going to solidify, and all these other things. What are some things that I guess people are putting down the drains that are considered fog that people should not do?
Well, the biggest one that we always use as an exercise is bacon. You fry your bacon up, you end up with the grease in the pan. Now, country folk like me, we put it back in a jar because we're going to use it later. But some people are a little bit healthier than I am, and so they want to take it and get rid of it somehow. So the recommendation is to take it, scrape it, put it in the pan, or put it in a trash can, put it in a bag, get rid of it, take it to the landfill. But, you know, the people that are a little bit more of in a hurry, and I can't say that I haven't done this, kick the hot water on, put it on the pan, rinse it off, and run the grease down the drain. The problem is that it's what I consider not your problem now, because it's going to be a problem later. Right. It's going to be your neighbor's problem, because that grease is going to go down that drain. That 140-degree water is going to push it down. But the problem is that if it does get out of your system, out of your sewer line, it's in our sewer line.
Exactly.
So it's not just your problem now, it's the neighbor's problem, and the neighbor and the neighbor and the neighbor down the line. And while a little bit of grease, you may not think a couple tablespoons of grease from your one pan is a big deal.
But if everybody's doing it.
But everybody in the neighborhood loves bacon.
Yeah.
So it's definitely damaging. And it's not just, soluble fats like bacon fat. It's cooking oil. Cooking oil can act just in the same capacity. When you get done with your French fries and you don't think to put it back in the bottle, they pour it down the drain. Cooking that steak, the fat renders off of that. Salad dressings, mayonnaise off the sandwich. I don't know about y'all. I like to, it's the when you make your sandwich and you get done with it, you take your knife and you lay it on the edge of the sink, because I might make another sandwich. Got a little mayonnaise and a little butter on there. Yeah. Rinse that off. That adds to it as well. Ice cream. It's just cream. It's fat. It's butter. I mean, pretty much everything has some kind of a fat content. Coffee creamer, bad milk. And it gets beyond just the fats, oils, and greases. Flour. Flour, if y'all did the experiment when we were kids, mix it with a little water and you made a glue or you made a blob.
All that stuff sticks to the pipes.
It does. Grease generally is polar. And it doesn't, while it may not stick to the water, what it does love is as soon as it sticks to anything else it touches, it's going to grab onto it. It's going to climb in pipes. It's like, we use the artery analogy. Yeah. It's like your clogged artery. You got you a big artery right here, and a little bit of grease starts collecting around it, then a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, then you don't have enough room for the blood to flow, and there you go. You're going to Uncle Billy's funeral. Yeah. And it's the same way with the collection system. We just can't afford to have a funeral for a wastewater plant, and we definitely need a place for this wastewater to go, because while that grease does damage the wastewater plant, it can cause problems in the plant. It usually causes a blockage and an overflow, and that's the big thing about us. With environmental services, we don't want those sewer overflows, because, as you know, as the old saying, it rolls downhill. Well, it does go downhill. Well, it's at the bottom of those hills, rivers, creeks, tributaries. And that's a whole other mess of a situation that we're trying to avoid here.
And honestly, what I guess as city employees, what we're asking citizens to do is just, be a good neighbor. Because if nobody's doing, but if a whole neighborhood is doing this, it becomes a big problem. It's one person, not so much a big deal.
No.
But if everybody's doing that's good, and we're asking you to be a good neighbor,
Yeah.
and don't pour these things down the drain, because ultimately it becomes a problem for the departments have to fix, which also becomes a tax burden.
Yeah. In our department, across the city, we use the term customer. And I like the term customer. But in our department, we try to steer away from customer. We prefer stakeholder because we're not a multi-conglomerate, multinational company making a profit. We want everybody to be involved in what happens. You are a stakeholder in that system working. Whether you are the hard-working parents down here at the house and you've got clogged sewer lines and a backup into the house or backup into the road, or you're the commercial business or the industrial user, you have a stake in that system working. All of us, everybody has a stake in it. You want that system to work. You pay for a service, and yes, I mean in that concept, you're a customer, but we're providing that service, but you have to help protect it as well, because it's not just protecting what's underground, because it's a lot of a out of sight, out of mind situation. Well, I can't see it. I flushed it. It's gone. It's not my problem anymore. But it is, because it's going to come back to bite you, and we don't want it to bite you, because we want you to say, hey, this little bit of effort right here protects me. It protects my neighbor. It protects the businesses down the road. The businesses in the same situation. They're protecting. We require the businesses to have specialized systems in place that we don't require on residences. So they're going their extra step to protect you. So it's not a lot to ask the person at home to not pour it down the sink, pour it in the toilet, or do anything just silly. It's why we provide trash services. So it's easier to put it there, send it out to landfill, and it's treated out there a certain way. But we just want everybody to say you're a stakeholder in the system, not so much a customer. Just remember that everything you do is going to affect, whether it affects you today or affects you tomorrow, at some point it's going to affect you.
Yeah.
So.
Because when that pipe has to be replaced, somebody has to pay for it.
Yes.
And we would rather pay to maintain the system as opposed to fix problems that are fixable.
Maintenance is better than total repair. I'd much rather, I'm sure with our water sewer guys, the talented guys we have in the department, they would much rather go out and run a jetter down the line, knock a little bit of stuff loose versus go out there. Because it's never going to be Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock. It's always that, Saturday night at 4 a.m. Christmas Day. Our guys are going to be out there fixing water lines, sewer lines, and, we want them to have the times with their families. We want them to have the time off. They work really hard, and then we got them out there digging up a sewer line, and they're pulling up a big old ball of grease or a bunch of wipes. That's a big issue we're having is the wipes. Wipes and other things are being flushed down the toilets. They love grease too. They take grease with it. Yes, them rags. The flushable wipes. They love grease, and so they'll create their own little grease balls going down lines now and clog up on systems. So that's a big problem too. So again, with the stakeholder, don't flush the wipes. Be careful with the grease. It's pretty much common sense. We live by the 3 Ps. As silly as it sounds, it works great for the kids. Exactly. The 3 Ps: pee, poo, and paper. And
that's the only thing.
That should only be the only thing you should have going down the toilet, going down the sinks. Is pee, poo, and paper.
All right. Well, is there any tips other than that you want to give to our viewers on doing their part in helping maintain the sewer system that we have here in Valdosta?
Well, the main thing is keep in mind the 3 Ps, the pee, poo, and paper. We want them to establish what our restaurants do, because we work with the commercial industry, best management practices. When you're cleaning your pans, dry clean first. Scrape everything into the trash, dry wipe them with paper towels. Get as much off of there as you can to put it into the trash can. It doesn't matter what you're cooking or cleaning, whether you just made a sandwich, you fried you some bacon, made a steak, made a quiche, whatever have you, just be conscious of where that grease and that residue goes into it. Hot water does not get rid of it. Dish soaps do not get rid of it. They may break them down, they'll push them a little bit further down the line, and then they just block up again.
They're still going to cool on the ground.
Exactly. They're going to break, they're just going to get there and then hang up again. Be conscious of what you flush down the toilet. Wipes. Big thing with wipes is you'll go to the store and they are legally correct when they say, I am flushable. But my G.I. Joe action figure in 1989 was flushable, and I still miss Roadblock to this day because he was technically flushable, but he did not belong in a sewer system. Same thing with the wipes. They get into the system. If they don't collect the grease, they're a bigger problem for our lift stations and our wastewater plants. They clog the pumps up. They burn these pumps up. They're devastating. So please, I love them. They're great products. Pick what you want, but don't flush them down the toilet. Put them in the trash. The only thing that's meant to be in there, toilet paper and your business.
All right. Well, I want to just thank you for taking your time coming out and teach us a little bit about the FOG program and some do's and don'ts for our citizens. We appreciate your time.
I appreciate y'all.
And we'll be back here on City Focus.